Coach Catfish here to talk to you. Actually, what I'm here to do is finish talking to you so I can get my food thing out. I'm trying to get my lighting right. I can't tell what I'm doing here really without the lighting. Anyway, as you see, I got the tiny horns. The little horns creates the send almost fire because of the way the static discharges come up to the end where they concentrate and do all that. And since I just got the little horns like that, that's because I was going to talk about the unclean eating and stuff the way I grew up. Because I just didn't figure that there was any way I could finish my eating stuff without actually I'm talking about how the Kosher Catfish eat every day and what we would have, when I come in from school and stuff. I thought it was pretty interesting, at least from the perspective of where I come from, and that's why I got the little pointed horns today, because I'm going to talk about the uncleanliness of the foods that I grew up eating. Didn't seem to kill nobody. Maybe give them worms or something, but I didn't say kill them. Anyway, Coach Catfish, little boy, second, third grade. I come running in. Granny, what you got? What you got? I got the pig ear, and I got the sweet potato, and that's exactly what I would have. We had the pig ear sandwiches. We always had the sweet potatoes cooking and set it on the side for whenever you come in. It was just SOP. That's standard operating procedure, in Bayou language, of just what you might have to eat. And for me, I always knew it to be the sweet potato. The cornbread was ubiquitous. It was everywhere. You always knew you had cornbread. And if you went in the fridge, there'd be some peas and greens and some other kind of greens and other kind of peas and a piece of pork, and that's what you had. But for me, the favorite thing I come into was a pig ear sandwich. Now, the pig ear is just a big old piece of gristle with some fat stuff on the outside of it, and you cook that stuff down, and my granny, she used to cook it down. I think she would do it with the cabbage, cook it down with cabbage, and season it up a little bit, and you get the white bread, like what we used to have back in the day. It wasn't no bread made it something special. It was just old white bread. You take the old mayonnaise, and you go, do it on this side, do it on that side, slap that pig ear in there, and buddy, you can go to town. Now, on top of the pig ear and the sweet tater, I was probably going to head out to the ditch and the local crawfishing area and catch me some crawfish. And what my normal thing was to do, since I was too young to shoot back at that time, I was doing that, pretty quick, but I was a little bit young at that time, so I just shoot the salt pork. I'd chew me some of the fat. I guess that could have been where they got the idea of chewing the fat, because us people down there, they go out fishing and stuff. We chewed on the salt pork. It was very good, very good. The cachun de porco, the saute. I know that's not how you say it, but that's just best I remember. Fat meat. It was salted. You buy that stuff, put it in your beans, put it in your greens when you're cooking them up to get the flavor. Well, Coach Catfish and some of my friends, we be chewing on that stuff. Chew it, just like what we had a big old chew in our mouth, like Grandma had. Ding! She hit that sucker all the way over by the fireplace. Ding! Anyway, some interesting things. So that was just a day in the life of the Coach Catfish when I come home. Had a pig ear sandwich. Always the sweet potato and the cornbread. So, you see, I ate very simply. Very simply. And then, the fun food come along. I may have told you about this before, but it still infects me in a way that you just can't imagine. My fourth stepmama, the really good one, the really one that should have been my mom all along because she's just a darling person. She'd come and get us out of school. Get us out of school. After noon or whatever, 11:30 before we go to lunch, maybe let us go to lunch. And she'd come and get us, and we all head out to the crawfishing. Now, when we went to crawfishing, what we ended up doing, because the water, you had the backwater and stuff in Louisiana, that's the way it works. It does that a couple times a year. You go out there in the spring. Now, you find your little old creek that is backed up into a cow pasture where all the poop is and stuff like that. That's where the crawfish are going to be. We go out there for hours and hours and take our little nets and stuff because we did it like the professional way. We did it with nets where we were catching about pounds of the crawfish. So we wasn't having to be 24 hours to get an ice chest of crawfish. We get that many in 20 minutes. In 24 hours, we get us a couple 55-gallon drums of crawfish. Take them suckers home. The way we cook the crawfish, I liked it a whole lot. We go outside, have one of them big old propane burners. Do that. Take the crawfish, put them in the water and clean them out. Put some salt in there and let them poop and all that. Get cleaned out 2 or 3 hours. Change the water out. That way you got all the poop out. Then we take a big old pot. I was a little boy, so it was probably smaller than what I was, but it just seemed big. We take that sucker and we fill it up with the water. Then we take it, put the crawfish boil in, the Zatarain crawfish boil. And then we take the other good stuff. We take the potatoes, we cut them taters up in quarters and put them in there. And then we put the corn on the cob, break them up, put them in there. And let them boil for a while. Then we go get the crawfish, living crawfish, and dump them suckers in there. And buddy, the eyeballs pop out and all kinds of stuff, and they just, But we done put the spices. The spices is what I like. This sucker be so hot. And since Kosher Catfish was going to be a man, even as a child, I would put more of the cayenne onto my stuff and just eat that sucker. Suck that head. No. Make them other people cry in their chair trying to eat the cayenne like the little Kosher Catfish could. Anyway, that was the kind of stuff that was special. Come in. Get the pig ear. Get the sweet tater. You know, Grandma be making some soap, lye soap and stuff like that. 'Cause we actually did that in our household. That was part of how we kept our skin, how the women kept their skins looking good up into their 70s and 80s and 90s. They using the real stuff, the real lye soap. It's good for you. It's good for me. That's why I got such good skin as an old man, you see. It's the lye soap. And the stuff I ate back in the day, it was what it was. Kosher Catfish didn't know no difference. The Jesus not, I just don't know what to say all about that stuff. I got to eat the clean. I got to eat the biblically clean. Whatever you eat, it's what you eat. The Messiah died for us. His blood was shed in many ways for people, for their shortcomings and whatever it is. Now my shortcomings is I can't eat no crawfish no more, and all I can have is the Kosher Catfish, and I ain't caught one of them yet. But anyway, I just had to tell a little bit more. Beans, greens, peas, and a piece of cornbread, and some pork, a slab of pork. That was the southern diet I grew up in. And the people lived up. Well, some of them had like artificial heart valves and all that kind of stuff too. But they lived to be old people. The old generation wanted to be old people. I think the mosquito spraying is what got a bunch of us. Because I was growing up, they come around and spray that stuff, because you had to kill mosquitoes because of backwater. And I think that could have weakened some of our systems and done no telling what to us. Anyway, we weren't here to talk about all that dreaded stuff. We're here to talk about the food. The food is good. I love the food. The only other food I love any better than the pig ear itself was the feet. Give me them pick a pig feet. Not no more, of course. That's just one of them things that I lent myself unto. My permanent lent. Like, I could never touch them again. There was the pig feet. I love the trotters. I love them trotters. Anyway, Kosher Catfish, I just had to finish this off so you understood that it wasn't always, strangeness. And sometimes, God, one more. The cow tongue sandwich. Now, when I was a little boy, a cow tongue was a couple of dollars. It was food on the other side of town where I lived, wrong side of tracks, wrong side of town, where some of us was at. And it was cheap food. It was a throwaway food. It was the shit that they throwed away, okay? But you know how to cook it up right. You cut them slabs of that cow tongue off, buddy. It's just when you bring it out and they look at you, just big old, huge tongue. Now, they're not much sandwiches, no better than the cow tongue sandwich. Put some of the mustard, put the mustard and the mayonnaise and some of the other stuff on there. Just treat it like it was prime rib. It's sort of like a prime rib. Tender as only a tongue could be. I better not say that. Anyway, Kosher Catfish, I think that's about it. I'll let you go now. If you want to know more, read it in the book. Hallelujah. I got to press my horns since I'm finished talking about my uncleanliness of the days. Hallelujah.